Hello and thank you for joining me today for day 22 of Creep on June, hosted by Tracie Fox. And I cannot keep this book open, so I've got my Edgar Allan Poe candle and it's holding the page open. So you can see a bit of what I've made for today, but we'll get into that shortly. So I hope you are all doing okay, and yeah, let's get into it. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. Back to the Raven. So it's another afternoon off for Alice today. So Edgar, now into a bit of a routine, spends his morning reading and waits for Alice to come and collect him for their afternoon walk. As always, she appears with a picnic basket laden with treats and flasks. Today, Edgar asks if she'd like to come into the forest and perhaps she'll find some comfort in the cemetery there after having recently lost her mother. Alice thinks that would be nice and they head into the trees. Edgar shows her all the things he's found, the old house, the structures, and of course the cemetery. Alice says she remembers coming into here as a child with her friends, but they all scared themselves silly and ran out before getting very far, and none of them ever ventured back again. But now she's here, it just feels peaceful. Edgar tells her all about Jupiter and the poem that he's writing for him that he's calling The Raven. He even tells her the first few lines that he's written for it, which he never normally shares with people. He never reveals parts of his writing before it's finished. But Alice brings something out in him that just makes him want to share everything with her. She says how beautiful the words are already and that Jupiter should be very honoured to have such a wonderful piece of writing dedicated to him. They get distracted by a noise, something deep in the forest. It sounds like that maniacal laughing that Edgar heard up at the castle. They stand there quietly for a long time, staring into the darkness, slightly fearful but rooted to the spot. They both look at each other as if to say, "You heard that too?" Something rustles in the trees. A crow flies out of the trees and dives down into the darkness. The laughing noise stops. Edgar knows that was Jupiter. Edgar finally finds his voice. "You go get him, Jupe," he laughs. Alice's fear breaks too and she starts laughing. They both just cannot stop laughing. And not in the creepy way that they just heard, in a joyful way. Then they heard some thunder and Alice grabbed Edgar's sleeve and said, "We need to get out of here now. We don't want to be in a forest if lightning strikes." The rain starts really heavily. The wind is blowing and swirling and thunder crashes are getting louder. They dash out of the forest, but it does take a little while because they're really quite deep into it. So by the time they get out and approach the river, the water levels are high and almost reaches the bridge. They run across the bridge just in the nick of time, and wet and laughing, they head back along the country lane. At the end of the lane, they have to go their separate ways, and Alice says she had the most wonderful afternoon and maybe one day she'll get to read the whole of the Raven poem. "Wouldn't it be lovely to have a poem written about yourself?" she says cheekily. Edgar already knows he will write one about Alice, but it will require lots of thought to make sure it comes out as beautiful as her. Once home, he reflects on the day, that strange laughing sound, Jupiter coming out to save them, wonders what on earth was going on. You had to be there to believe it. No mortal would ever even dare to dream what they had experienced. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just move you out the way, Mr. Poe. And this is what I've made for today. So I've got this vampire picture, which I thought was kind of like his face looked like he was maybe doing that maniacal laughing there. And I've just layered it on top of some bits. And then this ticket here, which has number 22 on, because we're on the 22nd day. So I thought it's completely unrelated to anything, but I'll stick that in there. And then I've made a couple of tags. So we've got this one here, which is where they're going into the grey cemetery, and then just something, some kind of creature, maybe that's what was doing the laughing, who knows. It just says, "Look." And then I've just done some kind of layering. Basically, I was trying to get rid of some of the scraps that I had in my in my bag for this stuff. And then on the back, we've got just like a skeleton fairy angel. And then it says Inhume, because they're at a cemetery, and Ominous. And then I've done some stenciling in the background there. And then this is the little tag for the quote for today. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. And then another tag with so in beauty of face no maiden ever equaled her, so release the craft in words. And I thought that was kind of fitting for how Poe was feeling about writing a poem about Alice, but thinking he needed to give it some thought to make it as beautiful as she. And then we've got Jupiter here, some kind of autumnal pieces, scroll, and then just dirtied up the back, and then some bits of lace. And then, because he was reading in the morning, so I've got a book page here, perhaps he was reading The Romance of the Ship. And in the background there's some quotes from The Raven, and this is the river that they come to, and you can't even see a bridge because it's getting overflowing with water from the storm. Can you see? So that is what I have made today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and if you're not already subscribed, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button as well. And please do leave me a comment, because I love to have little chats with you all. I will be back again tomorrow with day 23. Only 7 more to go. And I really need to start thinking about how I'm going to wrap up the story, because I don't actually know yet, because I'm winging it every day. So hopefully it will come to a conclusion easily enough. But I will be back tomorrow, and in the meantime, have a wonderful day. Bye.